Guys, so different type of video this time around. Breaking news, at least as far as I'm concerned. Patek Philippe just released their run-out list, or rather, I don't think it's a real list. They just crossed off a couple of references of their collection. So we know which models will no longer be continued going forward. And why do I care? Well, I care about one particular model, and this here is a glitch, I would say. But if you click on it, the Nautilus collection is what I'm concerned about. And yes, I'm completely aware I sound like a complete hype beast, and I promise you, I don't want to be perceived as such, and I don't think I am one. Well, let's see. Up for you to judge. But Patek discontinued a couple of Nautilus references. First and foremost, they discontinued the 5711. What does that mean? 5711 in steel, green dial, gone. 5711 steel, green dial, baguette diamond bezel, gone as well. And then 5711 rose gold, full rose gold, gone. And then 5990 in steel, that's the chrono dual time, also gone. Well, why do I care? I actually only care about the 5711 in rose gold. I really like the watch. Let's put it like that, and I'll leave it at that. It was really, really a nice watch. I couldn't care less about the green dial ones. I mean, those were supposed to be produced for only a year anyway, as far as I know. But I mean, I never liked them from the get-go. Tried them on, never liked them. Well, I couldn't care less. 5990 could also care less, at least in steel. But, you know, why am I making this video? Number one, I think it's kind of breaking just now, those news. And number two, what does it mean if you basically have first world problems and you like to maybe own a rose gold Nautilus? Well, you're basically left with the 5980 or the 5990. And those are beautiful watches, don't get me wrong, but they have little in common with the initial concept of an ultra-thin, elegant sports watch as it was envisaged by Gerald Genta, I think in 1976. Because those watches, because of the complications, they're quite thick. Now, obviously, if you compare them to, I don't know, a Sub or GMT or even other watches, they're not super, super, super thick, but they're not an ultra-thin sports watch. And if you scroll down, you see the side profile here. The 5990 is 12.5 millimeters thick. The 5980, almost identical, I believe, is 12.2. Obviously, dimensions is just one aspect of it. You have to put them on the wrist and then you see how they fit. But I think it's a bit sad that right now we do not have any ultra-thin Nautilus. At least for men, I guess. But then again, A, we're just talking watches, so it's not the end of the world. And B, just because you see the headlines everywhere, 5711 to be discontinued, doesn't mean that's going to be the end of it. That's like, I guess, at least that's a consensus. And to me, at first at least, that didn't make too much sense. It's like Rolex saying we discontinue the 116520, and then they come up with the 116500. So yes, of course, one reference was gone, but then the successor came out. Now, the consensus seems to be that Patek comes out rather soon. We don't know, with a I don't know, a 6711 maybe. I heard platinum. I heard all types of crazy stuff or read about it, red dials, whatnot. Yeah, let's see. I'm not particularly keen on a red one, I guess, but we'll see how that looks, if that even should happen. They also talk about upping this case size maybe to 41. I don't like them to do that. That's one thing, but there's also other stuff. They could improve the clasp and build in some micro adjust, because they updated the clasp with the 5990 already. This has the new clasp, I think the 5980 at the end of the current one, at least not from the get-go since it's been released, but I think the more recent variations or serials have that, if I'm not mistaken. Also, some of the ladies models have a better clasp, because if I look at the clasp, it really reminds me of the Rolex, the pre-ceramic watches, where a lot of people didn't like the clasp because the build quality was not just didn't match the quality of the rest of the watch, and I think with Patek, that's even a whole other ball game. It's just not on the level it should be if you think about what you pay for those watches. And apparently they're going to hike prices again this year. So I mean, at some point it's going to get ridiculous. Yeah, there's also other stuff they could update. Obviously, the power reserve. If you think about Patek, who they are, right? Then you have, I don't know, 40 something hours of power reserve. That's not really 2022 level, I guess. If again, goes to show how much bang for buck you get with a steel sports Rolex, or even any Rolex, I guess. Um, and then the later versions of the 5711, they already had hacking seconds, so that's a given. Meanwhile, the early ones didn't have that. So yeah, I think it's not just a negative. They can also improve on things if they come out with a new model. Now, going again back to what I just said before, initially to me it didn't make sense for them to come out with the successor right away, because that really wouldn't change anything with regards to hype. Of course, they can cross out as many steel models as they want and say, okay, we'll just release platinum now, whatever. That might change something, but that may change something. But initially I thought it may be smarter to wait for another 5 years and then maybe come out with a successor. But if you think then again, if things change the way they are, like economy, monetary policy, I don't know, crypto prices, what have you. So basically, ceteris paribus, would that change anything in terms of hype if you just come out with a successor in 5 years? I guess not. It probably makes it even worse. So yeah, that's basically the whole story of it. Pretty sad because I think it would have pretty much fit my wrist, unlike the 39 mil ultra thin AP. But yeah, it is what it is. And I think, again, not the end of the world. Let me know what you think of that. I don't know if it's even of relevance to you. Maybe you're more interested in the ISI one. Probably not, I guess. Also, other references have been discontinued as well. In the other collections, I think the 5170p was discontinued with the Salmon dial, if I'm not mistaken. But lots of other models, quite a few actually. But again, me personally, I'm really worried about the 5711 in rose gold. So that's it, guys. Wishing you a nice evening, I guess, whenever you're watching that video. Let me know what you think, if it was helpful or not, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.